People believe that the recently released jail video depicts Big U and Charleston White fighting while incarcerated. In case you are unaware, Big U recently handed himself in to Bu.
I'm gonna turn myself in though, because I ain't did nothing.
Following that, Charleston White made one of his most outrageous charges to date.
It's a long time ago Big U in the 60s had killed Nip.
You think that for real?
I know for a fact they did. I went to the funeral with the Rolling 60s.
People believe the two ended up in the same cell and may have even thrown hands after hearing that Charleston was also detained. Let's take a look at everything that's going on around Big U at the moment. The RICO case and Big U's arrest Eugene. In March 2025, Big U Henley was taken into custody as a result of Operation Drawdown, a significant federal RICO prosecution. This arrest wasn't just anyone. It was a component of a broad indictment against what the prosecution claims is a sophisticated criminal enterprise with Big U at its core. For those who are unfamiliar with Big U's importance, background information on his place in Los Angeles culture is necessary to comprehend his arrest. In South Los Angeles, Big U has long been seen as a crucial figure. He became well known as a leader in the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, one of the city's oldest street groups, after being born and raised in the area. His impact went beyond ordinary gang activity to include community organizing, conflict resolution, and ultimately the music business, where he was well known for serving as a manager and advisor to a number of well-known musicians, most notably Nipsey Hussle, before his untimely death in 2019. In the early 2000s, Big U openly recast himself as a community leader who was committed to good change after serving a lengthy jail sentence. He established the Developing Options program Tove at-risk youngsters' alternatives to gang activity. This metamorphosis became a key component of his public character, gaining him respect in both boardrooms of the entertainment business and grassroots community groups. His transition from jail to legal commercial success has often been used as a model for second chances and rehabilitation. In light of this, many people who had come to terms with Big U's changed persona were shocked by his arrest in March 2025. Reports from the Los Angeles Times indicate the accusations made against Big U are grave and extensive. These consist of fraud, human trafficking, extortion, and murder, essentially depicting a criminal organization like the Mafia that allegedly had a presence in many facets of Los Angeles life, including the entertainment sector. Despite his public recovery story, Big U allegedly continued to command criminal enterprises throughout Los Angeles County, according to the more than 200-page indictment. Prosecutors assert that he leveraged his industry contacts and street credibility to enable extortion schemes, targeting music artists, club owners, and other entertainment people, while using his legitimate enterprises and community activities as fronts for money laundering. The claims that Big U had a network of devoted friends who committed violent crimes on his behalf in order to preserve his plausible deniability are very devastating. According to the indictment, there were other instances where those who disobeyed extortion demands faced severe repercussions, including physical attacks and property destruction. Although Big U is not directly accused of carrying out these deaths, prosecutors stated that these altercations turned into homicide in at least 3 of these incidents. Everyone in attendance could see how serious the issue was when Big U made his first court appearance. According to the Los Angeles Times, he was in jail with his wrists bound and his legs chained, a negative perception of someone who has positioned himself as a former gang boss who is now a music business figure and community activist. According to reports, the courtroom was packed with supporters, including family members, and a number of well-known hip-hop personalities, demonstrating his ongoing impact despite the gravity of the accusations. The claimed link between Big U's illegal organization and several facets of the entertainment sector is what sets this case apart. Big U and his cronies, according to the prosecution, created a culture of terror that allowed them to operate with relative impunity for years by using extortion and intimidation to make money off of artists and other entertainment celebrities. Events involving anonymous, well-known music artists who were allegedly coerced into paying for security or facing repercussions are expressly mentioned in the indictment. The RICO accusation's underlying legal theory is very important. It was first intended to target conventional organized criminal groups. The Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act gives prosecutors the authority to group together offenses that don't seem to be connected into a single, continuous criminal organization. With this strategy, they are able to provide a thorough case against suspected organization leaders who may not otherwise be held directly accountable for illegal activity. This might result in Big U being held accountable for crimes allegedly committed by colleagues working under his supervision. The way that federal prosecutors have described Big U's operation has been very harsh. The organization's ability to operate across various sectors, from traditional street crime to entertainment industry extortion, made it particularly challenging to investigate and dismantle, according to U.S. Attorney Miranda Hernandez, who called it one of the most sophisticated criminal enterprises we've encountered in Los Angeles in recent years. Big U posted what he said may be his final video just before handing himself in, and it swiftly went viral on social media.
It'll be my last video. I'm going to go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. And he's actually got video and footage of it. So y'all know what y'all dealing with.
Demonstrates Big U appears calm while being clearly worried. He demonstrated his understanding of the public relations component of his case by recording this message prior to turning himself in. He deliberately portrays the incident throughout the video as persecution rather than a justifiable law enforcement action, a story that has struck a chord with many of his followers. Big U expressed generic denials of misconduct in this impassioned speech, but notably without responding to specific accusations. However, I'm leaving.
I want to go turn myself in though, because I ain't did nothing. This fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my windows. They calling my son at his football practice.
Viewers found this section of the video most moving since it humanized Big U by emphasizing the effects on his family. His followers were quite outraged when he mentioned that police were needlessly frightening. However, law enforcement officials later disputed that any threatening conduct had taken place and told the Los Angeles Times that calling family members was common practice when trying to find a fugitive. Additionally, Big U depicted himself as a community leader who was unfairly singled out, making clear references to past instances of law enforcement targeting Black community organizers. However, you all
Go turn myself in though, because I ain't did nothing. This fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my windows. They calling my son at his football practice.
In certain groups, the idea that his detention was the result of a racially motivated persecution, rather than a valid criminal inquiry, has acquired a lot of support. Numerous civil rights groups have voiced their concerns with the issue, although the majority have refrained from outright supporting Big U in favor of concentrating on the fundamental ideas of due process and equal treatment under the law. According to reports, the investigation that resulted in Big U's arrest started more than 3 years ago after a string of violent episodes in South Los Angeles that authorities thought were related to territorial and commercial issues. Court filings state that investigators used methods, including wiretaps, surveillance, financial analysis, and collaboration from unknown informants who had previously worked for Big U's company. Operation Drawdown's scope went much beyond Big U alone. Law enforcement carried out more than 30 raids around Los Angeles County on the day of his arrest, apprehending 22 other people who were reportedly associated with his group. Several well-known members of the local music industry, including producers, club owners, and at least one rapper with a regional following, were among those detained. Additionally, authorities confiscated almost $1.2 million in cash, 43 weapons, and significant amounts of drugs. Marcus Williams, the FBI special agent in command, highlighted the significance of the operation during a press conference announcing the arrest. For far too long, this group has cast a shadow over Los Angeles, controlling respectable companies with violence and terror, while damaging the same people Mr. Henley claimed to be assisting. The measures taken today are a big step in making Los Angeles a safer place for everyone. The accusations have been fiercely disputed by Big U's legal team, which is led by renowned defense lawyer Michael Ramirez. Ramirez described the case as prosecutorial overreach based on shaky information and circumstantial evidence in a statement issued shortly after the arrest. He added that Mr. Henley has been a positive influence in his community for years, and that we look forward to proving his innocence in court. The issue has sparked heated discussion, especially in the hip-hop scene, where views on Big U are starkly split. While some see his arrest as long overdue accountability for someone who allegedly continued criminal activities while fostering a reformed public image, others, like Charleston White, see him as a victim of systemic targeting of successful Black men who have escaped poverty through street knowledge. Charleston's hypothesis on Big U's arrest timing. Charleston White has formulated a hypothesis on the reason behind Big U's arrest at this specific moment. He implied in a thorough video that the arrest had something to do with Los Angeles' preparations to host the 2028 Olympics.
Y'all sending it around, getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to Black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being Black, trying to help somebody, trying to help your community, and do what you can. You're just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they go on the internet and do what they want to, and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy.
White elaborated on this idea by comparing it to past Olympic host cities.
Hey, listen, let me just say this about Big U now. This was more of a political move that had something to do with the Olympics. So the Olympics is coming to LA in like a year or two. So you got to think about when the Olympics came to Atlanta in 95, 96, the city and the county get a bunch of federal funding to go clean up the city, to prepare for the Olympics to come. Mm-hmm. So remember, Atlanta had the Red Dogs. The Red Dog had the resources, the power, the authorization to go out and do whatever to clean up all the crack sellers, the drug dealers out of Atlanta before the Olympics came.
Charleston White expanded.
Charleston White has also conjectured on Big U's possible reaction to the accusations against him. White made a very blunt remark in which he implied that Big U's future may involve working with the government. So far from the...
This is kind of similar. There's no way that the politicians in these world leaders could let the Olympics come to LA and Big U and the Rolling 60s got a stronghold on the entertainment industry to nigga kidnap, to strong arm, to intimidate, to extort. So there's no way they was gonna let these people come to LA and they still have this free reign to do celebrities like this, homie. So no, they just cleaning up before the Olympics come.
Tell White went on to provide a passionate account of Big U's possible reaction to the arrest.
It's with Brick Baby, Loose Cat, and all them. Who you think gonna be the first to tell?
All of them. Big U gonna be the first to tell.
White continued with an emotionally charged description of how he imagines Big U reacted to the arrest.
Gray beard, Big U had in that picture going, man, that's Paw Paw. That nigga ain't that when he when he with his family and the news hit that he wanted. Nigga, he with his woman, he with his children, he with them grandkids. And them grandkids saying, Paw Paw, where you going? And Paw Paw got to go turn himself in. Man, crying on the inside. Just as soon as he can get by himself, man, Paw Paw don't want to leave them grandbaby.
In Charleston, White has positioned himself as someone who questions the conventional conventions of silence in criminal organizations, in his opinion.
I'm gonna remind everybody, hey, there's no loyalty in this group of criminals, my. Nobody have ever been able to uphold these codes. The mafia ain't, the Chinese mafia, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, everybody, when they get caught by the oppressors, break and fold.
The tension between
There is more to the conflict between Charleston White and Big U than just a personal rivalry. It raises more significant issues with accountability in street culture and loyalty redemption. The stakes are quite high for Big U. He may be imprisoned for the rest of his life if found guilty of the allegations against him. The federal RICO charges against him contain unusually harsh penalties, and the accusations against him are quite severe. His demise further complicate an already intricate case. Even though official sources have not verified these claims, they have added to the high level of public interest in Big U's case. Big U, meanwhile, insisted that he was innocent of the federal accusations, as well as the claims pertaining to Nipsey Hussle's passing. He presented himself in his pre-surrender video as a community leader who was being unfairly singled out. Despite years of research, conjecture, and public declarations, the truth behind Big U's involvement, or lack thereof, in Nippy Hussle's terrible death is still unknown as this narrative develops. It is evident that these significant individuals had a complex connection that included aspects of community service, business, mentoring, and even seeming antagonism. As Big U's case moves through the judicial system, the hip-hop world and beyond will be attentively following along in hopes that some of the unanswered issues that have persisted since Nipsey Hussle's tragic death will eventually be answered. An analysis of the link between Big U and Nipsey Hussle. The focus has now obviously shifted to Big U's previous relationships, especially with Grammy-winning rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was tragically murdered in 2019. Despite some internet rumors, it's crucial to consider what is known about their relationship based on public records and statements. On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle, whose real name was Armis Asgidam, was killed outside of his South Los Angeles apparel business, the Marathon Clothing. For the murder, convicted shooter Eric Holder, also known as Shitty Cuz in the neighborhood, received a sentence ranging from 60 years to life in prison. Court evidence stated that Holder and Hussle had a personal disagreement that led to the murder, with Holder allegedly feeling degraded after Hussle brought up accusations that he was an informant. The courts have accepted this official story. However, in the years following Nappy's passing, a number of other explanations have surfaced online, including baseless conjectures regarding Big U's possible participation. Importantly, Big U has not been charged with any crime connected to Hussle's killing, and no solid evidence has surfaced connecting him to Nippy's murder. Big U and Nipsey Hussle had a lengthy relationship that lasted for about 15 years. Their relationship started in the middle of the 2000s, when Nippy was still a budding musician. It is said that Big U was crucial to Nip's early career, helping to get him started in the music business by offering contacts, protection, and mentoring. In the 1960s, both were connected to the job. Neighborhood Crips and Nippy's friendship was openly recognized as a mentoring relationship, with Nippy frequently attributing early interview advice to Big U. Big U was a constant in Nip's career throughout his ascent to fame. He was often featured in the album credits, acknowledgments, and thank you sections, and the two were frequently pictured together at industry gatherings and public events. Big U allegedly supported Nipsey's pioneering Crenshaw mixtape when it was released in 2013 with a $100 physical copy business model. Jay-Z's purchase of 100 copies of the mixtape garnered national notice. Nip's relationship with Big U seemed to be going well on the surface as his career developed and he became more well-known, especially with his Grammy-nominated album Victory Lap in 2018. But according to some industry insiders, the dynamic changed as Nip's celebrity and commercial savvy increased, possibly causing friction in a relationship that had previously been better defined by mentoring. 2 years after Nippy's passing, Big U addressed allegations about his relationship with Nippy head-on in a 2021 Drink Champs interview, categorically denying any discord.
Got no beef. Right. Period. We never stopped talking. We didn't go 2 days with nothing.
Yeah.
We didn't have nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
All the way up until he signed that deal.
Big U asserted that Nipsey actively included him in his business pursuits, and that their friendship remained positive when he signed with Atlantic Records for his major label debut.
He called me and said, let's go.
Celebrate.
Where the fuck is the beef at?
Right.
He fly me to New York.
Right.
I'm in the fucking video.
Big U cited his involvement in Nip's song video, which showed their continuous professional collaboration as proof of their positive connection.
Yo, what is it, I ain't no rap niggas. The first song off of Victory Lap.
He established himself as one of Nipsey's most devoted fans in the industry by actively supporting his musical endeavors.
Who promoting Victory Lap on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. All these weirdos who told me who became Nipsey fans, they weren't promoting this shit. I'm the one promoting that. I went and did 5 days in the studio recording for the mixtape that was gonna come out after that.
Let's go.
You don't hear?
These declarations demonstrate ongoing cooperation and assistance. However, I was unable to validate or refute this description of their connection. There may have been commercial conflicts between the two, according to several community members and outsiders. Nipsey's economic interests may have deviated from long-standing local power structures as his business portfolio grew to encompass technological endeavors, real estate assets, and the Marathon apparel shop. In contrast to conventional street organization hierarchy, Nipsey's repurchase of the block investment plan in South Central Los Angeles, which intended to establish Black ownership, provided an alternative method of community empowerment. One confirmed truth is a disagreement that arose in 2018 between Nipsey's brother, Samuel Black Sam Asghedon. Prior to Nip's passing, police records state that Black Sam and those purportedly connected to Big U got into a fight about business issues pertaining to the Marathon apparel store's operations. Although different parties have described this dispute's precise nature in different ways, its existence is undeniable. It's crucial to remember, though, that this recorded dispute in no way links to Nipsey's murder the following year. Big U was clearly present at memorial services after Nipsey's passing and frequently praised him in interviews. He often conveyed his sorrow over the loss and in community healing efforts. He has frequently highlighted Nipsey's beneficial contributions to the community in public remarks and positioned himself as continuing some of Nipsey's legacy through community service. Big U has repeatedly denied any connection to convicted killer Eric Holder when asked about him directly.
Conversation, they clearly was beefing. They clearly grew up together. And it's a nigga I never seen before, I never met him.
These declarations demonstrate ongoing cooperation and assistance. However, I was unable to validate or refute this description of their connection. There may have been commercial conflicts between the two, according to several community members and outsiders. Nipsey's economic interests may have deviated from long-standing local power structures as his business portfolio grew to encompass technological endeavors, real estate assets, and the Marathon apparel shop. In contrast to conventional street organization hierarchy, Nipsey's repurchase of the block investment plan in South Central Los Angeles, which intended to establish Black ownership, provided an alternative method of community empowerment. One confirmed truth is a disagreement that arose in 2018 between Nipsey's brother, Samuel Black Sam Asghedon. Prior to Nip's passing, police records state that Black Sam and those purportedly connected to Big U got into a fight about business issues pertaining to the Marathon apparel store's operations. Although different parties have described this dispute's precise nature in different ways, its existence is undeniable. It's crucial to remember, though, that this recorded dispute in no way links to Nipsey's murder the following year. Big U was clearly present at memorial services after Nipsey's passing and frequently praised him in interviews. He often conveyed his sorrow over the loss and in community healing efforts. He has frequently highlighted Nipsey's beneficial contributions to the community in public remarks and positioned himself as continuing some of Nipsey's legacy through community service. Big U has repeatedly denied any connection to convicted killer Eric Holder when asked about him directly.
conversation. They clearly was beefing. They clearly grew up together. And it's a nigga I never seen.
Big U went into further detail about this, stating that he was unable to get to know every younger member due to the organization's size.
Really? No, I ain't never met City. You gotta remember, we at any given time, we may have 1,500 homies throughout this on the streets. Maybe be 5,000 or 6,000. But if you got 15, I don't know all these young niggas. I'm 54. I don't know with niggas that's 25, 26, 20.
Business partner David Gross, who worked with Nippies on the Vector 90 co-working space and other real estate projects, has provided information regarding Nipsey's business partnerships in the years preceding his passing. Gross has highlighted in interviews Nip's strategic approach to striking a balance between economic endeavors and community relationships, detailing how Nippy managed intricate local issues while achieving real corporate success. The official story set forward in court has been supported by the fact that Lauren London, Nipsey's companion at the time of his death, has mostly stayed silent about ideas surrounding his murder. Instead of addressing competing theories over Nip's passing, she has prioritized upholding his legacy as a parent, community leader, and business in her public remarks. Online rumors regarding Big U's involvement in Nipsey's murder have increased after his recent arrest. But it's important to differentiate between confirmed information and unsupported ideas. There are no charges pertaining to Nipsey Hussle's murder in the current RICO case against Big U, and the prosecution has not made it known that the two cases are related. When examining the connection between Big U and Nipsey Hussle, viewpoints are worth considering. From one perspective, they stand for several eras of civic leadership. Nippy is a new paradigm of ownership and entrepreneurship, whereas Big U as a departure from conventional street organization structures. These strategies occasionally coincided and deviated, which might lead to both cooperation and conflict. Another viewpoint places their connection in the larger framework of hip-hop culture's mentoring system, where experienced personalities frequently advise up-and-coming artists, but may encounter difficulties when mentees succeed on their own. This dynamic has frequently occurred in the industry, occasionally resulting in commercial disputes when partnerships develop from mentorships. A third framework looks at their interaction from the perspective of South Central Los Angeles community economic development, where various ideas for neighborhood enhancement might either compete with or enhance one another. Big U's community initiatives represented one strategy, while Nipsey's emphasis on ownership and investment represented another, both of which claim to cater to the same demographics. A thorough analysis of the evidence at hand reveals a complicated connection that varied over time as the interests and positions of both men changed. It probably had aspects of both collaboration and conflict at various times, confounding categorization, like many long-term corporate and community ties. That concludes the deep dive for today. If this breakdown was useful to you, we have a ton more. To continue having fun, simply click any card that is now displayed on your screen.